That's not normal. You shouldn't have to do that. Houston, we have a problem. Yes. Okay. We're gonna decide together though. We have to decide together. Okay, that is so pretty. Because who's gonna know? Luckily, it's just crafting and it's not that serious. Hello, crafty friends, and welcome back to my channel. On today's episode, we are doing part 2 of what we did last week. So I will go ahead and tell you, if you missed last week's video, go watch it first, because in that video, I showed you how to create DTF designs using Illustrate AI and Craft Designer inside design bundles. And I told you that today we're doing something very special, which is we're gonna layer heat transfer vinyl on top of DTF. So in the last video, I showed you how to make that file. So we made our DTF background in Illustrate AI and Craft Designer. And then we made our text layer in Craft Designer that is the SVG we're gonna cut out on our Cricut machine. So, hold on. Let me make that make sense. Basically, the DTF layer is a PNG and it got printed out over at dtfprinter.com. They shipped it to me. It's now here. And then we also created a text layer that's gonna go over top of the DTF, but that was a SVG cut file, like a true cut file that we're gonna cut out today on our Cricut, and we're gonna layer it all together and we're gonna see how it does. So we're gonna layer puff vinyl on top of DTF today. If you're interested in seeing other vinyls layered on top of DTF, then go check out the Design Bundles YouTube channel, because I made a craft where I layered brick and holographic vinyl on top of DTF over there. So it's kind of like we're doing a 2-in-1 sort of situation. I'm doing brick and holographic for that channel, and then on this one, we're gonna try puff. I've never tried this before. I've only heard rumors that it works. So let's try it out. Also, in case you're interested, here is the design that I did for the Design Bundles channel. This is our little DTF backdrop here, and then we did our holographic and brick vinyl on top of it for the letters. So today we're doing something similar, but with puff. Okay, first things first, I wanna show you how DTF arrives from dtfprinter.com. So it comes in a gang sheet. If you remember, we ordered 3 versions of our backdrop because your girl couldn't decide which one I wanted to use. But when it comes like this. Okay, there is a little spot missing right here, and that was because that's the background I used for that shirt. So here's our DTF. It has arrived. It looks beautiful, vibrant. Here's a close-up of it. So you can see you end up with your full color transfer on one layer, and then all you have to do is just cut it out and press it on. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. Here's how it looks on the back. It looks like a true transfer layer. So you can see that's the part that's gonna get pressed against your shirt. Now I will tell you that with the color shirt we're using today, I honestly can't decide which background we're gonna use. So it's probably gonna be a game time decision. I went ahead and cut out all 3 of our options, but I also wanna show you the other supplies that we're gonna be using today. So here's option number 1. I do really like this one. I'm just a little torn because this is the puff vinyl that I picked out. I got it at Hobby Lobby. It is their 405 brand, which I've used before and have been really impressed with, surprisingly. I was shocked that it did as well as it did. But see how it has this pattern on it? I'm just worried that that's gonna be too busy. We are gonna have plain white HTV layered behind the puff, but I'm a little concerned about that. So I don't know. Oh, and this is our shirt. It's like a little taupe color. So that shouldn't be an issue. Either way, not worried about that. So with that being said, let's hop over to the computer and let's get our cut file part set up to actually cut on the Cricut. Okay, you might be looking at this thinking, Laura, that is not what we designed. You're correct. Because what happened was, last time we were together, I did art club and then I did like creativity over perfection or something like that. Chase creativity over perfection, I think is what I did. And then I just sat there and I was thinking on it and I was like, I just don't love it. And then I was scrolling on TikTok and I saw someone had made like a tote that said hot girls have hobbies. And I was like, that is it. That's it. So I remade it. However, if you're interested in doing this craft at home, you can still watch the previous video in this series and it'll still teach you how to do this. I just ended up changing the words. So the process is still the same. Our end product is just a little different. So I'm gonna do Hot Girls Have Hobbies. This is exactly how it came into Cricut Design Space. Haven't done anything yet, but we're about to do some grouping to just make our cutting a little bit easier. So what I wanna do is ungroup this whole thing. And then I wanna take these, I'm gonna toggle off the top text layer, our puff vinyl layer, and I'm actually gonna weld these bottom layers together because I just don't want this duplicate little cut in the middle there. I would rather this just be like one piece since they overlap. So I'm gonna use Combine Weld for that, and you can see it welds it into one image. And now I'm gonna toggle on our text layer that is our puff. I'm gonna reline it back up exactly how it needs to be. And then I'm going to combine our puff vinyl layer via attach. So now everything is just gonna cut in 2 simple layers rather than 4, which just makes our lives immensely easier. The other thing I'm gonna do though, because I'm a crazy person, is I'm gonna try to cut all this on one mat, because you actually can cut puff vinyl on the everyday iron-on setting, and this is just regular old Easy Weed, and so that will also be on the everyday iron-on setting. So I'm gonna do this on one mat instead of 2. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this top layer white so the Cricut thinks this is all the same material, and it will cut it on one mat. Because who's gonna know? How are they gonna know? They won't. So the only way this wouldn't work to cut everything on one mat would be if you were supposed to mirror one layer and not the other, but everything's supposed to be mirrored, so we're good. So I'm gonna click to mirror, and we are gonna cut this on a mat. I'm gonna move this one down to below the 7-inch mark, just so I give a good amount of space between the two. That's just to help myself later. We're gonna hit continue. And then we're gonna set this up as everyday iron-on with more pressure. And the only reason why we're doing more pressure is because I'm using a very dull blade. So if you have a new blade or you haven't worn yours down to the nub like I have, you can just do regular pressure. Okay, so that part is ready to go. And now we're going to cut these down a little bit so they're not huge. Okay, we only need, oh, I'm like almost out of that. Okay, well, we don't want it to go away just yet. We need about this much. I really hope that's not too small because I really don't have a lot of extra to work with here. And then this one I've actually never even opened, which is wild. I keep saving it for like just the right project, which is code for I'm never gonna use this ever. So I'm glad that we're using it today. Ooh, I'm really excited to use this actually. All right, I'm gonna get this. Look how cute it is. Let's get our Cricut mat and get everything placed on our mat so we can cut it. And then while we're cutting it, we're gonna go ahead and preheat our heat press. And I'm gonna explain how you would do a heat press situation like this when you're pressing things at very different temperatures. Okay, so we're gonna take our 2 pieces. Remember, we're cutting on the same mat. So our background layer, which is our regular Easy Weed, is at the top. So I'm just going to put that up here. All right, gotta get our Easy Weed layer up there, and then our puff layer just has to be below the number 7. And then, let's see. Just making sure that we have enough space over here. I think we do. I think we are okay. All right, so that's how we're gonna cut it, 2 in 1. Here at our heat press, while our Cricut cuts over there, we're gonna go ahead and preheat to 320 degrees for 15 seconds. It's already set to that, so we're just gonna let it heat up. We're doing that because those are the heat press settings for our DTF, which is our background layer, so that's what we have to press first. Second, we're gonna press our Easy Weed layer, since that's the background of our text, which luckily also can be pressed at 320 degrees for 15 seconds. So we're not gonna have to change any settings for those. But once we do those 2 layers, we're then going to knock down our temperature to 280 or whatever it said. I'll have to look that up. I'll put it on the screen here, whatever the correct thing is. Hopefully I got it right. And then we're gonna let it cool down just a little bit before we press our puff layer, because if you press puff vinyl at too high of a temperature or for too long, it looks like ramen noodles, and we don't want that. So that's how we're gonna do it. Okay, we just finished cutting these. Before I pull it off the mat, I'm just gonna do a little weed test and make sure that it cut all the way through. That we got a nice good cut. You can also go ahead and just weed everything on the mat if you prefer it that way. Some people like it because it kind of keeps everything from lifting and like you having to hold everything down. Okay, that looks great. Well, let's see. Let's go ahead and check this before we move along. Oh, that looks great also. Ooh, does it look great? It is a little bit thicker actually. I think we can work with it. It's not perfect. If I could go back, I would maybe do that on a different setting. But we're not gonna do that. If you hate wasted vinyl, avert your eyes because I didn't realize there was that much left on the end. The trailer for Wicked Part 2, also known as Wicked for Good, came out today. Friends, I am booked and busy for the entire month of whenever that film is coming out because, oh my word, that's not normal. You shouldn't have to do that. But I really don't want to recut it, so that's what we're doing. Oh, our heat press is done heating up. Oh, well, it's fine. Luckily, it's just crafting and it's not that serious. Who can say if I am changed for the better? We're getting somewhere. You know how they say, measure twice, cut once? It should be check your cut settings twice, so you only have to cut once. This is so crazy. I'll be back. Okay, so number 1, I did finish weeding. Number 2, I totally forgot right after I finished weeding that I signed up for a workout class and I did not want to get charged $20 for missing that class. So that's why I'm in different clothes now, because I changed really fast and went and worked out and now I'm back. And now you're caught up. So we have weeded. Let's get it off of our mat. Here's our puff vinyl layer. So cute. And here is our, gosh, that noise is truly terrible. Here is our easy weed layer, our backing layer. And then we obviously have our DTF layer, right here. So we're gonna take this over to the heat press. We're gonna pre-press our shirt at 320 degrees for 15 seconds. Then we're gonna press our DTF at 320 degrees for 15 seconds. Then we're gonna press our easy weed at 320 degrees for 15 seconds. And then we're gonna drop it down to 284 degrees and press our puff for, I believe it's 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And then it says to press for an additional 5. I think you're supposed to use parchment paper too, hold on. Let me just put this back together really quick. Yeah, parchment paper. We're gonna use parchment paper on our puff. 285. What the heck? 284. It's oddly specific. We're gonna do 285, just so I remember it. And then we're gonna do that for 15 seconds and an additional 5, if it needs it. Okie dokie. So the first thing we're gonna do is place our shirt on her where we want it. Nice and centered. And we're gonna take this sticker off. Whoops. And we're gonna pre-press our shirt for 15 seconds, just to get all the wrinkles out. And also, fun fact, you might not know this, if you don't pre-press your shirt, you definitely should. It's super important. Not only does pre-pressing your shirt get all the wrinkles out, but it also gets all the moisture out of the shirt, which increases the longevity of your design because you're not like sticking DTF to something wet. Even if you don't think it's wet, there's moisture in the fabric, so definitely get it out. Okay, we've pre-pressed our design here. Now we're gonna place our DTF on top. We do not need to cover our DTF with parchment paper, so we're just gonna put it right up on there. Make sure it didn't move around in there. Press it. First layer done. Okay, so DTF is cool peel. So we're gonna let this cool for a minute and then we'll come back and peel it. All right, let's see if she's ready to peel. Oh my goodness. Okay, that is so pretty. So now we're gonna place our words on top. We're gonna press this again at 320 degrees for 15 seconds. While we let that white vinyl cool down just a little bit, we're also gonna bump our heat press down to 285. I'm just gonna do 284, that's what it says. So I'm gonna bump it down to 284, and we're also gonna set the time to 10 seconds. I think that's what it said. So you can see it's set at 284 for 10 seconds. Now we're gonna let it cool off. Houston, we have a problem. So I started to peel it to see like if it was ready, and it turns out this, whatever Easy Weed this is, I don't think it's Caesar. I think it's like some off-brand that I bought. It doesn't stick to the DTF. Like, look at this. I just peeled away and like it literally just, like it was like just sitting, like pulled straight up. But now it's like adhered right here. So we need a solution. I'm really tempted to just full send and put the puff like right on top of it. Should we do it? I've got it like laid on there right now, and like I weirdly kind of like it. I'll show you what this looks like. We're gonna decide together though. We have to decide together. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's kind of wild looking, but I kind of like it, I think. I think we should do it. I'm doing it. I'm just gonna do it. Full send. Full send. Okay, so it's on there. We're going to put our parchment paper over top and let's just send it. This is stressful. I hope it doesn't look too crazy. The white, I feel like was gonna help it like pop a little better. Okay, you're supposed to peel this pretty fast. Please work. Like, don't do this to me. All right, and now we're supposed to press it again for 5 more seconds. All right, 5 more seconds. Please puff, please puff. All right, the big reveal. Oh my gosh, it did it. It puffed. Okay friends, we have reached the end of this project, as evidenced by all of my extra stuff that I threw on the floor during the project. But before I show you the big reveal, if you loved this, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything on my channel. It helps me a lot, and I would just love to get to know you better and hang out with you over on the Happy Crafting YouTube channel. I am documenting all of my crafts over there, but I also document just like my life. I'm moving to Florida this summer to start grad school to hopefully become an Imagineer at Disney World, so that is also included over there on that channel, and I'll be documenting all of that over there as well. So please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of this project or what you want to see next. And now for the big reveal. Here she is, Miss America. I think it's actually super cute. It's a little bit wrinkly. I probably could have done to press it just a little bit less time. And if I'm being totally honest, I do kind of wish I had done the backing layer because it is just like a little bit busy. It looks less busy in person, actually. Like in person, I feel like that is a pretty true picture of it. But overall, I am obsessed with it. I think it's so cute. Okay friends, I hope you loved this video. Let me know in the comments what questions you have or what you want to see next, and I'll see you back here next time. But until then, happy crafting!